to feel nervous. But to me, they were just extra experience. I ordered my skeleton warriors to charge. But this time, my skeletons met a real challenge. The Mermaid Queen's stats were incredibly high. She destroyed 12 of my skeleton warriors in one hit. I had to send out my entire army for the second time. We fought our way to the Mermaid Queen's palace. Hundreds of elite monsters surrounded the area, while the others were worrying about the numbers. I sent my skeleton warriors to attack. The noise quickly alerted the mermaid soldiers. They used their skills and charged toward us. I ordered my skeleton warriors to use Frenzy Strike. Then, I followed up with Corpse Explosion. Kill notifications and EXP gains flooded my vision. The others couldn't believe their eyes. What kind of insane skill is this? This is the first time I've seen EXP gain like this. Once all the monsters were defeated, the palace doors slowly opened. The Mermaid Queen finally appeared. Her stats were all over 5,000. The moment she showed up, Raven and the others' eyes went blank. I realized she had a passive charm effect. I used clarity to wake them up. However, their stats were temporarily reduced. The Mermaid Queen's aura began to rise. I saw she was about to cast a skill. I ordered my skeleton warriors to interrupt her. Forced to stop, she raised her trident and began charging. The trident shot forward like a bolt of lightning. It instantly destroyed one of my skeleton warriors. Sierra quickly asked the priest for buffs. She wanted to tank the hits so the skeletons could get close. I told her it wasn't needed and cast Slow Curse on the queen. Restraining chains wrapped around the queen in the next second. But the moment the Mermaid Queen activated her skill, the effect of the Slow Curse vanished instantly. That strike also cost me 12 skeleton warriors. Sierra saw this and told me to recall my skeletons. She said it was time for her team to step up. Instead, I raised my hand and summoned even more skeleton warriors. Hundreds of skeleton warriors crawled out from the ground. The sight left everyone completely stunned. Under the relentless pressure, the Mermaid Queen was quickly overwhelmed. My skeleton warriors went into a frenzy. They landed continuous strikes on her body. Moments later, she collapsed to the ground with a final cry of despair. We had successfully obtained the first mermaid's tier. While the others celebrated the completion of the mission, I asked Raven if she had a cooldown amulet. Everyone was shocked by my request. They wondered if I planned to take all 3 mermaids' tiers. We soon exited the dungeon. The people from the Sakura Nation began to mock us. They laughed because we had come out in less than half an hour. They assumed we retreated because the dungeon was too difficult. Vance stood by and mocked us as well. Our comrades from the Divine Summer Empire comforted us instead. But to everyone's surprise, Raven used a cooldown amulet right in front of them. Before anyone could react, Raven and I re-entered the dungeon. The other 3 stayed behind to avoid slowing us down. To avoid any further delays, I decided to go into full performance mode. Based on my previous experience, I devised a new strategy. We killed the mini-boss in less than 5 minutes. Then, we wiped out all the elite monsters around the palace. After the last fight with the Mermaid Queen, I had developed a much better plan. The moment she stepped out, I cast Slow Curse. Simultaneously, I used Corpse Explosion on the bodies around her. Following a series of continuous explosions, the Mermaid Queen was instantly turned to ash. She probably never expected that as a final boss. She would be defeated before even saying a word. This time, we obtained a mermaid's tier and a silver-grade magic book. We also found 2 silver-grade daggers. Meanwhile, Raven finally leveled up. This made even Raven, who usually hates grinding, very excited. She immediately urged me to start the next run, seeing us teleport out in under 10 minutes. Sierra and the others were shocked again. Dante's power was even more terrifying than they imagined. Then, Raven and I entered the dungeon one last time. This run was even faster than the previous one. Now, all 3 mermaids' tiers were in our hands. As we teleported out again, the Sakura Country team burst out laughing. How pathetic. You probably fled without killing a single monster. What a waste of that cooldown amulet. But just as they finished speaking, the light at the dungeon entrance began to fade. Everyone realized this meant the dungeon was disappearing. The dungeon only vanishes once all 3 mermaids' tiers are collected, and we happened to enter exactly 3 times. They realized all the mermaids' tiers were in our hands. The Sakura Kingdom players immediately surrounded us. They tried to force us to hand over the mermaids' tiers. Seeing this, our Divine Summer Empire comrades joined the fight. Since our team secured the mermaids' tiers, they would never let the Sakura Kingdom take them. The conflict between the 2 nations officially began. Their Shikigami summoner struck first. He summoned 2 spirits at once. Their pressure was so heavy that the weak couldn't breathe. I immediately cast Soul Flame. The cyan fire shot toward the 2 spirits. Both were destroyed the moment the flames touched them. The Shikigami summoner was enraged. He burned a talisman, and a creature with a massive axe appeared in the sky. This was his life-bound spirit, the Great Axe Spirit. The Great Axe Spirit charged into the crowd. No one from Divine Summer could break its defense. I ordered my skeleton warrior to use Frenzy Strike. It killed the spirit in a single hit. Everyone was left in shock. I was confused. It was just too weak. Since his life-bound spirit was killed, the man suffered a severe backlash. I ordered my skeleton warrior to finish him off. The man fled in terror on another spirit. Seeing this, the Sakura Kingdom players lost their will to fight. Their strongest legendary class had been easily defeated. I entered the Hall of Dungeons for the first time. I broke a clear record that had not been touched in 3 years. This attracted a large crowd of onlookers. But I was still not satisfied with my leveling speed. Magnus had told me the requirements to enter God Creation Academy. The first requirement is to reach level 30. Earlier, after I drove away the Sakura Kingdom's legendary Shikigami summoner, the rest of the Sakura Kingdom players lost their arrogance. As I summoned 5 more skeleton warriors to the field, the cowards fled in panic immediately, following their lead. All the Sakura Kingdom players began to escape from the hilltop. Seeing this, the Divine Summer Empire players were overjoyed. Those cowards were so arrogant before, but now they are pathetic. Nearby, Vance was filled with deep regret. If he had not left the team, he would have finished the trial by now. Sierra crushed a teleportation stone. We returned to Summer Capital Academy. Soon, I received a message from Magnus. He asked to meet me after watching the recording of the trial mission. He explained the use of the Mermaid's Tear to me. It turns out the Mermaid's Tear increases the success rate of awakening talents. As a reward for defeating the Sakura Kingdom and getting the tear, he offered to fulfill one of my requests. He asked me what I wanted. I immediately thought of my missing sister. I asked him about her whereabouts. Magnus said he could not reveal any information about her. She joined God Creation Academy at the beginning of the year. All student records at God Creation Academy are kept secret. He told me that if I want to find her, I must join God Creation Academy. Then, he sent me the requirements to join. Since he couldn't fulfill my first request, Magnus told me to ask for something else. I chose a cooldown amulet. This will help me level up much faster. That way, I can join God Creation Academy sooner. Magnus agreed to give it to me. However, I must reach level 20 first, and then complete a specific mission. He then handed me a crystal. It was a teleportation stone for the Hall of Dungeons. He suggested I go there to level up. I took the stone and teleported immediately. A moment later, I appeared inside the hall. People everywhere were looking for teams. I checked the requirements for God Creation Academy. First, I need to reach level 30. Second, I must clear the Hell-level Abyssal Frontline Dungeon. Finally, I need 1,000 contribution points. While I wondered how to get those points, a blonde girl interrupted my thoughts. She realized it was my first time in the Hall of Dungeons. She offered to explain how everything works. She held up one finger. She only wanted 100 points for the info. I immediately transferred the points to her. She was very happy to receive the payment. Then, she began her explanation. There are 95 dungeons in the hall. They are categorized by color based on their difficulty. Every dungeon has its own clear record. Breaking a record grants special rewards. This building with 5 orbs is the quest center. After her explanation, I still didn't know how to get contribution points. I asked her how to earn them. The girl was shocked by my question. She didn't expect a freshman to care about contribution points yet. She explained that they are very hard to get. You must complete academy trials and official quests. Earning them is extremely difficult. Academy quests are usually finished the moment they are posted. Many points are required to advance further in the academy. Suddenly, my bracelet notified me that I received 50 contribution points. This was my reward for the Mermaid Island trial. Everyone around me watched in total disbelief. I thanked the girl and walked to the magic stone. I placed my hand on it to select a dungeon. I chose the level 17 mutated forest. The current record was 1 hour and 17 minutes. It had been the record for 23 years, so I chose nightmare difficulty. The crowd began to mock me for picking a low-level dungeon. They thought I was just a rookie pretending to be an expert. They doubted those were real contribution points. Inside the dungeon, I summoned skeleton warriors to clear the path. I rushed straight toward the boss to save time. I soon found the boss hiding in a pool of water. The mutated shark turtle roared as it emerged from the water. I commanded my skeleton warriors to surround and attack it. Its super defense skill was surprisingly powerful. Even a frenzy strike barely dealt any damage to it. I finally understand why no one could break the record. But this defense is meaningless to me. I cast Soul Flame to strike its soul directly. It roared in agony the moment the flame hit. It unintentionally exposed its weak underbelly. My skeleton warriors swarmed it immediately. It was dead in an instant. My experience bar increased by 35%. Meanwhile, a bell rang in the Hall of Dungeons. The red orb in the center of the hall lit up. My new record for the mutated forest was displayed. Everyone watching was stunned. What kind of monster is he to break a team record alone? I was then teleported out of the dungeon. My bracelet showed I earned 1,000 points and 5 contribution points. Since breaking records grants contribution points, I decided to break every dungeon record. But when I tried to enter the level 20 spider lair, I saw that it required level 18 to enter. I was still only level 17. I had no choice but to clear the mutated forest. I had no choice but to go back and clear the mutated forest one more time. After clearing the dungeon, I finally reached level 18. Records. First place, 1 hour 12 minutes. I set my sights on the record for the spider lair. You are next. The terror of my skeleton army has received an epic upgrade. The tattered bronze-grade skeleton warriors have now evolved into armored silver-grade warriors. Their stats have also been significantly increased. After clearing the dungeon and reaching level 18, I turned my attention to the level 20 dungeon, the spider lair. 1 hour 12 minutes. I will break this 3-year-old record today. Without hesitation, I chose nightmare difficulty. The next moment, I appeared in a dark cave. I used Soul Flame as a light source to start exploring. To save time, I summoned skeleton warriors to scout the paths. Their exploration speed surprised me. My skeleton warriors encountered monsters at every fork in the road. It seems these massive swarms of spiders are the dungeon monsters. I immediately cast Soul Flame at them. Hundreds of them were burned to death instantly. The EXP is equivalent to 20 elite monsters of the same level. This is truly a great place to level up. But suddenly, my skeleton warriors were covered in spiders. The damage from one spider is negligible, but hundreds of them biting at once is a problem. I tried to recall the skeleton warriors to the summoned space, but I couldn't because there were too many spiders on them. So I used Corpse Explosion. Killed level 18 spider, EXP plus 500. The spiders on the skeleton warriors vanished the small spiders on the skeleton warriors vanished instantly. After exploring for 10 minutes, I finally found the boss, the Spider King. This was the first dungeon where I truly experienced being swarmed. I wouldn't let it down. It didn't take long for me to defeat the Spider King. My experience points increased by 80%. But because I was delayed for too long by the small spiders, I failed to break the dungeon record. Meanwhile, everyone in the Hall of Dungeons was waiting to see me fail. He hasn't come out yet, and the record time has already passed. It looks like he died inside. Hearing this, Sierra couldn't help but worry. But a second later, I was teleported out of the dungeon. She rushed over to comfort me, but I told her I had already cleared it. Hearing this, she was struck speechless. She couldn't believe I cleared a dungeon alone that even 5-man teams struggle with. And seeing how relaxed I looked, it seemed this wasn't even my limit. Meanwhile, I was calculating the leveling efficiency of the spider lair. Although it gives 3 times more EXP than the mutated forest, it takes as much time as 4 runs of the mutated forest. Even if I spend 40 points to reset the cooldown, the time spent makes it inefficient. So, I asked Sierra if there was a dungeon with better leveling efficiency. After thinking, she told me about a dungeon that perfectly matched my needs. It was the level 25 large-scale dungeon, the Tyrant Desert. Not only can you enter at level 20, but it also allows a 40-man team to enter at once. I was intrigued. It seemed I had to reach level 20 as quickly as possible. After thanking her, I entered the spider lair once again. To break the record this time, I chose not to kill every single spider. After killing the boss, my experience increased by 70%. At the same time, the bell in the Hall of Dungeons rang once more. Everyone exclaimed that I must have broken the record again. They suspected I might be a talent awakener, but Vance mocked me from the side. What awakener? He's just lucky. He's just an ordinary student who recently finished the exam. He probably used his connection with Magnus to get a powerful item. Otherwise, he couldn't clear a nightmare dungeon in 10 lifetimes. Just as he finished speaking, I walked out of the dungeon. My completion time was displayed for everyone to see. I had officially broken the record. When I saw Vance, who kept causing trouble for me, I could no longer suppress my killing intent. I've tolerated you enough. Do you really think I won't kill you here? The killing intent made Vance feel the fear of death once again. He was so terrified that he didn't dare to speak. Seeing this, I didn't want to waste any more time on him. My priority was reaching level 20 to challenge the Tyrant Desert. Meanwhile, the high-ranking officials of Summer Capital Academy gathered. They were watching the recording of my run through the spider lair. Magnus spoke with a look of satisfaction, even though I saw his battle footage during the exam. Seeing him now is still shocking. A white-haired elder nearby nodded in approval. He asked Magnus what talent I had awakened. Magnus told him it was an amplification talent. However, I don't know the exact multiplier. It's his private information, so I didn't ask for details. He will definitely join the God Creation Academy in the future. His sister, Moira, is already there. She is currently being trained by that old man. Hearing this, the elder spoke meaningfully. It looks like our human race will soon have 2 new rising stars. Meanwhile, I stood before the Spider King once again. After killing it, I finally reached level 20. All of my attributes have significantly increased. My summoning space grew from 120 to 200. Even my most common summoning skill leveled up. Summon Skeleton Warrior. Can summon a silver tier Skeleton Warrior. I immediately summoned it. A second later, an armored skeleton appeared. Its 4 basic stats increased from 2,000 to 4,000. Its skill, Frenzy Strike, also leveled up. It deals 300% strength damage with a 10-minute cooldown. However, summoning them now consumes more spirit. It is time to get some new equipment and items. So, I went to the exchange. First, I traded the dungeon gear for low-level skill scrolls. Then, I went to the point shop to buy high-level gear. My eyes soon landed on a longsword. There was also a spirit robe and a ring made by Barrett. Equipping the full set activates a special set effect. Altogether, the set provides a massive boost to spirit. As I was deciding whether to buy it, a loud commotion nearby caught my attention. You dare sell scrap metal with no stats for 50,000 points. But when I saw the attributes of this scythe, I was shocked. My unique hidden class, necromancer, finally found its exclusive weapon. It costs 50,000 points, but it sat unnoticed in a junk shop for 50 years. Before, it was priced at 500 with no stats, so everyone thought it was an ordinary scythe. The new 50,000 point price tag made people furious. Scrap metal with no stats for 50,000? That's insane. I bought it immediately without a second thought. The moment I touched that scythe, I felt the power of death itself. I realized it was a growth-type weapon from the necromancer set. Once unlocked, it can summon an undead general to lead my skeleton army. It can also absorb abyssal souls to gain experience and grow. Reaching certain levels will unlock even more skills. Back in my dorm, I used a basic skill scroll. A golden light burst from the scroll. I successfully learned a new skill, bone armor. With my talent boost, it provides 1,000 points of physical and elemental defense. The duration is also extended to 50 minutes. This makes up for my low health and weak defense. The next skill I learned surprised me even more. It was the exclusive skill, Summon Skeleton Mage. I used the skill immediately. A skeleton in a black cloak appeared before me. Now my skeletons finally have long-range attacks. The next day, I went to the office to get a quest from Magnus. Magnus was shocked that I reached level 20 so quickly. It was much faster than his own progress back then. He quickly regained his composure and spoke. Your task is simple. Enter the level 20 dungeon, the Tyrant Desert. Kill the boss within the time limit and bring back the Tyrant's heart. However, it is a 40-man large-scale dungeon. The difficulty will be extremely high. If you can bring back the heart within 3 days, I will give you a basic cooldown amulet. Cooldown amulets are far superior to those in the Hall of Dungeons. Some high-level dungeons have cooldowns lasting several months. Once you encounter those types of dungeons, that is when the cooldown amulet truly shows its value. Also, the reason I am giving you 3 days is because the Academy's opening ceremony is in 3 days. I hope you can make it back before then. After I left, a white-haired elder slowly walked out of the room. Are you so sure he can bring back the Tyrant's heart in 3 days? Knowing his personality, I'm certain he is going to solo it. Remember when you tried to solo it at level 30? You crawled back in a pathetic state. Hearing this, Magnus was speechless. Meanwhile, I have arrived at the entrance of the Tyrant Desert dungeon. The bystanders nearby were shocked. Does he want to break the record for a large-scale dungeon too? The moment I touched the dungeon teleportation stone, the record-holding team's information appeared. It was set by a 40-person team from Wyvern Academy. Just as I was about to enter, a blonde girl stepped forward and asked, "Are you planning to level up in the Tyrant Desert?" I told her about my mission to get the Tyrant's heart. She was instantly shocked. That is a treasure that only drops from the final boss. It can be crafted into a powerful Tyrant's necklace. Furthermore, that item only drops once a year. The last time it dropped was 2 years ago. Then she realized something was wrong. Wait, where are your teammates? You aren't planning to solo the Tyrant Desert, are you? Even Wyvern Academy had to use all their geniuses to clear this dungeon. How can you defeat the final boss alone? Just as she finished, a man in golden armor walked out of the crowd. A large team followed behind him. It turns out they are students from Centurion Academy. To break the record for the Tyrant Desert dungeon, they prepared a lot of gold-grade gear. Seeing this, I knew I had to hurry. I stepped into the dungeon portal in front of everyone. Their leader gave me a disdainful look. He then ordered his team to enter the dungeon. After entering, I immediately summoned skeleton warriors to scout. Soon, my skeleton warriors encountered a monster. A strange withered tree emerged from the ground. My skeleton warrior was caught off guard and almost pulled under. The tree's stats suddenly appeared. I was shocked when I saw its attributes. As expected of a large-scale dungeon. Even the mobs are as strong as the bosses on Mermaid Island. It would be difficult if my skeleton warriors weren't silver-grade. After 2.5 seconds, the desert ghost tree was finally defeated. Surprisingly, it gave hundreds of thousands of EXP. To be safe, I immediately activated my bone armor. Then I continued to explore the dungeon. Soon, I found an oasis ahead. I knew this place could be a monster nest. I sent my skeleton warriors to scout it out. Before they reached the oasis, a scorpion monster attacked. However, my skeleton warriors are no longer weak. It was killed instantly with a single frenzy strike. The commotion immediately attracted more scorpion monsters. I also noticed some fruit growing on the plants. I quickly summoned more skeleton warriors to harvest the fruit. The skeleton warriors soon returned with the fruit. I discovered that these fruits can restore spirit. I took a bite, and my spirit began to recover rapidly. Unfortunately, the fruit only lasts 5 minutes after being picked. It seems I have to make this my main battlefield. Using the fruit's recovery effect, I began to continuously summon skeleton mages. In just 2.5 hours, the summon skeleton mage skill reached level 20. The once tattered mages evolved into silver-level elemental mages. They now control 4 elements: wind, fire, ice, and lightning. Their 8,000 spirit gives them incredible damage output. I looked at the monsters and gave a devious smile. You had fun killing my skeleton warriors, didn't you? Now it's my turn. This massive dungeon that no genius in the academy could clear. I cleared it alone and found it far too easy. My completion time shocked the academy's experts. It drove all the students into a frenzy. After I captured the last city in the dungeon, the final boss, the Leonian Tyrant, appeared. In less than 2 minutes, I lost nearly 30 skeleton warriors to its cyclone. This was the first boss to truly put pressure on me. To lighten the burden on my skeleton warriors, I cast Slow Curse on the Leonian Tyrant. Unexpectedly, the restrained tyrant could still attack. Its sonic wave instantly killed 14 more skeleton warriors. Even my bone armor shattered in less than 3 seconds. Before I could react, the tyrant used Frenzy Leap, and it was coming straight for me. If I get hit, I might lose all my remaining skeleton warriors. I quickly cast Soul Flame to block it. Fortunately, the attack interrupted the tyrant's skill. It was knocked down, and the skeleton warriors seized the chance to counterattack. In an instant, the skeletons covered its entire body. I also kept casting Soul Flame from the side. with the skeleton mage's elemental attacks falling constantly. The tyrant's health began to drop rapidly. A moment later, it was dead. Obtain tyrant's heart, drop cooldown, 1 year. Unlike the Ant Queen's drops, all 3 items it dropped are gold grade. I have also reached level 21. Skill: Summon Skeleton Mage. I noticed that the skill, which was originally level 10, has automatically risen to level 21 along with my level. I was surprised. Does a maxed out skill level up with the player? If so, I need to clear the Tyrant Desert again to max out my other skills. Meanwhile, 6 loud bells rang out in the Hall of Dungeons. Everyone in the hall was shocked. 6 bells mean a new record has been set for a large-scale dungeon. Vance, the grandson of the Centurion Academy's principal, was thrilled. It looks like our Centurion Academy set this record, but a man nearby disagreed. I remember the great Dante also entered the Tyrant Desert. It might be him breaking the record again. Hearing this, Vance became annoyed. Which academy is Dante from? How dare he compete with Centurion Academy? A lackey immediately told him about me soloing the dungeon. After hearing it, he burst out laughing. Is he trying to kill me with laughter? Soloing a 40-man dungeon? He really doesn't know his limits. A student from Summer Capital Academy nearby snorted coldly. What? Is it impossible for one person to enter a large dungeon? He is a master who has already set 2 dungeon records. Vance was about to say something when the news broke. News that the tyrant's heart had dropped spread through the hall. Everyone was shocked to hear this. No way. The tyrant's heart actually dropped. It must be the students from Centurion Academy who set the record. After all, it is almost impossible for one person to kill the terrifying tyrant alone within an hour. This sudden news made Vance's face twist with joy. But a second later, he was hit with a harsh reality. An announcement appeared above the hall showing I broke the Tyrant Desert record. Clear time: 14 hours, 11 minutes, and 43 seconds. A moment later, I stepped out of the portal. The crowd stared at me, unable to believe their eyes. A gloomy Vance walked up to me. So you're Dante? You dare steal from Centurion Academy? You're asking for death. Meanwhile, I was only thinking about finding Magnus to finish the quest. I ignored his barking and left the Hall of Dungeons immediately. Soon after, Magnus received a notification from me. He had no idea I was calling to turn in the quest. He assumed I was calling him to help me find teammates. Instead, I informed him that the tyrant's heart was already in my hands. Magnus completely lost his composure. Did you really break the Tyrant Desert record? He quickly calmed down and asked for my location. After I told Magnus where I was, I received the rewards for breaking the Tyrant Desert record. I gained 5,000 points and 30 contribution points. Just then, I sensed a space fluctuation behind me. In the next second, Magnus and I appeared in a white-haired elder's home. The elder was actually Master Alaric, a divine array master. Magnus then asked me to take out the tyrant's heart. Both of them were shocked when they saw the heart I produced. After questioning me, they learned I had cleared the dungeon solo. Furthermore, it only took me 14 hours. The two were stunned once again and looked at each other in disbelief. Alaric then looked at Magnus with a mischievous grin. Magnus, it's time to fulfill the promise you made to him. A bit annoyed, Magnus threw the cooldown amulet to me. You don't need to tell me. Then he told me a way to enter the God Creation Academy as quickly as possible. The method was to enter the primordial battlefield to earn contribution points. Usually, only those at level 40 who have completed their second job change can enter. I can give you early access to the primordial battlefield. But your mission is to bring back the items listed on this paper. I looked at the materials on the list and felt a bit troubled. Everything started with the word dragon, meaning they weren't dropped by low-level monsters. Magnus saw my concern and quickly explained. Don't worry, they aren't actual members of the dragon race. They are just a type of orc known as the dragon tribe. Essentially, they are no different from the Leonians in the Tyrant Desert. So, are you interested in taking on this mission? Hearing this, I accepted the mission without hesitation. This way, I would be able to earn even more contribution points. After I left, Alaric worried that entering the primordial battlefield early might be life-threatening. Magnus argued that since I could solo a large-scale dungeon, I should be allowed to go and gain some experience. Meanwhile, in the Hall of Dungeons, the Centurion Academy team just emerged. They had cleared the dungeon in less than 16 hours. This made them think they had broken the record. But while they were gloating, the onlookers were laughing at them. Sensing something was wrong, they looked at the hall records. They realized it wasn't their completion time. It was the record for the tyrant's heart drop. The leader was stunned when he saw the record I set. He remembered the boy he had just ignored. He couldn't help but cry out in shock. Impossible. 2 level 21 kids are faster than Centurion Academy. How can they be faster than us? The next day, I returned to the Hall of Dungeons to challenge the Tyrant Desert again. People saw me and rushed over to ask for help. They offered to pay 1,000 points each. They just wanted me to help them complete the Academy mission. I was surprised by the offer. If I take 39 people into the dungeon at once, I can earn 39,000 points in a single run. I could then use those points to reset my cooldowns. I immediately agreed to the deal. Points plus 39,000. I can't believe I'm working as a power leveler. Business was booming, and a long line formed. Everyone had seen me preparing to enter the Tyrant Desert again. They all wanted to join my party. They were willing to pay 1,000 points each as a fee. All they wanted was to finish their Academy missions. I accepted their request. My only condition was that we needed a full group of 40. This way, I would earn 39,000 points per run. No one had any objections. I led the 39 members into the dungeon. I summoned skeleton warriors to push toward the oasis. Every monster we encountered was killed instantly. However, the experience gain was disappointing. Instead of hundreds of thousands, I only received a few thousand. At least the points earned would let me solo this many times later. The skeleton warriors ahead encountered hundreds of monsters. I quickly summoned skeleton mages to attack. Then, I used corpse explosion. In an instant, every monster was dead. Everyone was shocked by the display of power. I told the group to wait there. I would call them after I cleared the ant cave. After waiting for 20 minutes, one man suggested pulling a monster to pass the time. Since Dante makes it look so easy, they thought they could handle just one monster together. Several of them agreed and took action, but the man accidentally pulled 2 monsters instead of 1. Everyone immediately felt the pressure. A knight used a skill to draw the monster's attention. A single hit from the monster shattered his shield. He was sent flying by the heavy impact. The combat classes began attacking with all their strength, but their attacks barely scratched the monster. They finally killed one monster by using their superior numbers. However, their stamina was almost completely gone. The knight was still struggling against the second monster. They began to deeply regret their foolish decision. Just as the scorpion monster rushed toward them, the skeleton warrior I left behind to protect them finally attacked. It killed the monster with a single strike. The survivors were moved to tears. Thank goodness Dante left a summon to protect us. However, some people were still questioning my efficiency. It's been over 10 minutes. Why hasn't Dante killed a single monster yet? Killed level 26 Desert Soldier Ant, EXP, plus 8,000. Just as he finished speaking, killed level 26 Desert Soldier Ant, EXP, plus 8,000. The notifications popped up endlessly. He was shocked by such terrifying efficiency. By then, I had already reached the queen's nest. Like before, I used corpse explosion to kill her instantly. After that, I led the group to the tyrant's castle. I blew the gates open once again. The Leonian tyrant appeared before everyone. This time, I was much more relaxed. Sorry, old friend. I'm in a hurry this time. I immediately ordered my skeletons to attack. To the others, the Leonian tyrant looked like a mere toy before me. In no time, the notification for the tyrant's death appeared. Everyone burst into tears of joy. The quest that had troubled them for years was finally complete. While they cheered, I teleported out of the dungeon. Back at the Hall of Dungeons, I asked Sierra to arrange the next group. A student from Centurion Academy saw this. He sneaked into the team to see how I soloed the dungeon. Soon, I led the next group of students into the dungeon. Compared to the previous run, it only took me 7 hours to clear the dungeon this time. The spy from Centurion Academy broke into a cold sweat at my power. He immediately went back and reported everything to Vance. Upon hearing the news, Vance immediately found a way to deal with me. He called his ally, Vance, to discuss a strategy against me. Meanwhile, the principal heard that I was taking people through the dungeon. Magnus, that kid you like is being far too reckless, the principal said. He is charging fees to take people through the Tyrant Desert. Magnus didn't seem to care. That's nothing new. This has happened in the academy for years. But he is taking 39 people at once, the principal shouted. Every student who was stuck on that dungeon has passed now. Magnus joked in response. The kid really has a good head for business. I'm impressed he thought of this. However, he shouldn't charge a low price. He shouldn't make it too easy for those people. The principal was furious after hearing this. Magnus had been unhappy with the academy's rules for a long time. Many talented students failed because they were not social enough to find a team. I think Dante is doing the right thing, Magnus said. Alaric also agreed that the academy's system needed reform. The principal stood up angrily. You two are always on the same side. They laughed as they watched him leave. The old man still has a fiery temper. There is only one person in the world who can handle him. Meanwhile, I used the fruit to upgrade my bone armor to level 21. With my talent bonus, it now provides 21,000 defense. Slow Curse also reached level 21. The slowing effect is much stronger than before. Soon, I reached level 22. My skeleton warriors, skeleton mages, and skills like corpse explosion all leveled up. Skeleton mages reached level 22, and corpse explosion is now level 3. Slow Curse and bone armor also reached level 22. All my other skills leveled up as well. I earned another 39,000 points. After carrying people through dungeons multiple times, I now have 350,000 points. However, 350,000 points is still not enough. A single intermediate skill book costs 80,000 points. This isn't enough to learn all the intermediate skills I need. I need to find a way to get more points. But then, during today's opening ceremony, Vance wanted to defeat me in front of everyone to prove himself. He challenged me and offered 5,000 points as a bet. When I heard that, I told him it was too little. I held up one finger. Anyone with less than 100,000 points isn't worthy of challenging me. My unique class, necromancer, has finally met its match. My invincible silver-level skeleton warriors were countered by a single crystal. As the man crushed the crystal in his hand, the skeleton warriors instantly turned to ash. Even my summoning skills completely failed. Earlier, when Vance bet 5,000 points to challenge me, I told him it was far from enough. I held up one finger. I want 100,000 points, or you aren't qualified to challenge me. Hearing this, Vance laughed. 100,000? Do you even know how much that is? You aren't even worth that much if I sold you. I didn't bother to explain. Instead, I put up all my points as the bet. Whoever loses must pay the other the full amount. My confidence left Vance completely stunned. If Vance refused the challenge, he would lose face. After hesitating, he agreed. Magnus called him an absolute idiot for it. Alaric stood nearby with a grin. That kid has led so many dungeon runs lately. He must have at least 300,000 points. Principal Miller snorted. He just uses cheap tricks. Dante, the national top scorer. Vance and I stepped out. The crowd was incredibly excited. We finally get to see the great Dante fight. Vance looked at me with disdain. National top scorer? What a joke. You are nothing in front of me. I responded coldly. Your level is lower than mine. This made him furious. You're just a peasant. You aren't worthy of comparing yourself to me. I ignored him and repeated my words. Your level is lower than mine. He was completely enraged. Did your elders never teach you manners, you bastard? My gaze turned ice cold at his words. I looked at him as if he were already a dead man. He was instantly terrified by my aura. It was that same look from the dungeon. But he quickly regained his composure. You only rely on summoning and corpse explosion. Without corpses or the ability to summon, you are just useless trash. I immediately summoned a skeleton warrior. If we weren't at the academy, you would already be dead. In an instant, the skeleton warrior appeared above his head. Just as the sword was about to strike, Vance pulled out a crystal. As he crushed it, the skeleton warrior above him turned to ash. At the same time, I felt my summoning skill being sealed. Vance said smugly, I prepared this summoning sealing talisman just for you. Let's see how you fight me now. He raised his staff and began chanting. Intense flames gathered into rain of fire. Seeing this, Alaric immediately suspected that someone was using Vance to target me. Vance could never have obtained a mid-level summoning sealing talisman on his own. The rain of fire poured down upon me. I calmly activated bone armor. The flames completely engulfed me. Vance burst out laughing. How does it feel to be burned alive? But as the flames faded, I was completely unharmed. Vance stopped laughing instantly. How is this possible? My strongest skill did nothing. Refusing to give up, he launched more skills at me. I stood still and let every attack hit me. Yet, they still couldn't wound me at all. Growing bored, I said coldly, your skills are too weak. I cast Soul Flame at him, and a blood-curdling scream erupted from his mouth. In an instant, he began bleeding from his eyes and nose. Fortunately, a god-level healer arrived just in time to save his life. The crowd watched in a cold sweat. This freshman is terrifying. He defeated a senior with just one skill. Dante slowly walks toward him, overwhelmed by fear. Vance quickly kneels and begs for mercy. Just don't kill me. I'll give you all my points. Just as he says this, the referee announces Dante as the winner. According to the bet, Vance must pay Dante 358,000 points. Vance is completely stunned. Is this a joke? He just joined the academy. How can he have that many points? The referee glares at him coldly. Are you calling me a liar? Vance quickly apologizes for his outburst. Then pay the points immediately. But Vance doesn't have enough points. The referee transfers Vance's current points to Dante first. Vance is ordered to pay the remaining balance within 6 months. Otherwise, he will be expelled from the academy. Dante's account balance immediately increases by 128,000 points. He walks past Vance and leaves the stage. Just then, Magnus sends a message. They are leaving for the primordial battlefield in 1 hour. Dante goes to the exchange to sell his extra gear. He earns a total of 2 million gold coins. After finishing, he meets up with Magnus. Led by Alaric's power, Dante and Magnus arrive at the outskirts of the Divine Summer Tower. Guided again by the tower's energy, they finally reach the primordial battlefield. Although it is Dante's first time here, he feels a strangely familiar aura. They soon arrive at the human base. The soldiers notice the 5-star badge on Magnus. They immediately salute with the highest military honors. I am surprised by their reaction. Magnus notices my expression and quickly explains. Brat, I know what you're thinking. They aren't saluting me, they are saluting this badge. We arrive at the military ID office, but the clerk is busy playing games. He doesn't even look up until Magnus asks for an ID for me. The man starts swearing instinctively. Who's the fool interrupting my business? But then he sees the 5-star badge on Magnus' chest. He almost pees himself in terror. 5-star General Magnus personally brought a rookie here. He immediately rushes to process my military ID. Once I have it, Magnus explains how it works. Killing monsters in the primordial battlefield earns merit points. When points reach a certain amount, the badge upgrades. The highest rank is General. The stars represent the merits earned within each rank. More merit means more stars. Each rank is divided into 5 stars. Then Magnus says he's taking me somewhere else. Soon, we arrive at the Hall of Heroic Souls. He explains this is where the Empire's ancestors are honored. Every seal floating in the air belongs to a fallen hero. Their soul power will protect the Divine Summer Empire forever. Magnus bows respectfully. Magnus, a descendant of the Divine Summer, prays for the ancestors to protect our youth. Suddenly, the demon-slaying tower erupts with a dazzling light. A beam of light shoots down and covers Dante. A gold star on Magnus' badge begins to fade. The demon-slaying tower has recorded your soul imprint. Now, even if you die in the primordial battlefield, we can bring you back to life. Dante is shocked. Magnus sacrificed an entire star of merit just to give Dante a second chance at life. While others flee from monsters in the primordial battlefield, Dante treats them as prey to farm merit points. In less than 10 minutes, his merit reaches 1 star. Even his death scythe finally levels up. Magnus sacrificed his own merit to save Dante's soul. This allows Dante to resurrect once if he dies. Magnus explains that many dungeons are scattered across the battlefield. Abyssal monsters often guard these entrances to prevent humans from entering. He advises Dante to buy plenty of teleportation stones. After giving instructions, Magnus says goodbye. Dante wastes no time and heads out to hunt. Soon after leaving the city, he is attacked by an unknown creature. It is an invisible undead monster. The skeleton warriors sense it and strike first. The monster's form is finally revealed. A skeleton warrior slashes at it, but it deals 0 damage. Dante checks its stats to understand why. The monster has a passive skill that grants physical immunity. Dante immediately summons his skeleton mages. If physical attacks fail, he will use magic. The skeleton mages launch their elemental spells. The battlefield specter is instantly engulfed in flames. A strand of soul breath falls into my hand. I am surprised to find that the will of the dead can enhance equipment. However, I cannot afford to let my guard down. Since there are physical immune monsters here, there might also be magic immune monsters. There could even be monsters with dual immunity. While heading to the dungeon entrance, 3 figures appear, running in terror. A pack of abyssal hounds is chasing them. A man reaches me and tells me to run. Instead, I walk straight toward the hounds. They shout that I am a dead man. There are over 100 abyssal hounds behind them. When I see human remains in the hounds' mouths, my killing intent instantly explodes. You all deserve to die. I summon my skeleton warriors and mages. The skeleton mages launch elemental attacks into the pack. The skeleton warriors charge forward to join the slaughter. As the first abyssal hound is killed, my badge begins accumulating military merit. My death scythe also absorbs a strand of abyssal soul. At this rate, I only need 30 more kills to level up. I immediately use corpse explosion on the hound's carcass. Following a massive explosion, my military merit points increase rapidly. My death scythe reaches level 2. Meanwhile, inside a dark cave, a monster sends out more minions to find food. By this time, I have reached the dungeon entrance. But to everyone else, I'm just a rookie. I noticed this dungeon has a hell difficulty setting. To experience something different, I decide to challenge the hell difficulty. People from the Divine Summer Empire try to stop me, but they're too late. They both look on in disbelief. He actually went in all by himself. Nearby, a man from the Sakura Empire sneers. Let's see what difficulty this fool chose. He throws out a dungeon detection charm. A moment later, the dungeon information appears. Hell difficulty, 1 person entered, 1 person alive. The Divine Summer people are filled with despair. It's bad enough that he entered alone, but he even chose the highest difficulty level. He is walking into certain death. The man from the Sakura Empire mocks them. How many minutes do you think he'll last? A Divine Summer warrior points his sword at the mocker's throat. Don't you dare insult the Divine Summer Empire. Shut up if you want to live. Meanwhile, I realize something is wrong as soon as I enter. My storage space is restricted. I can't use any potions or supplies. I can't even use a teleportation stone. The only way out is to clear the dungeon. Just then, a monster patrol spots me. They charge at me immediately. Their stats are incredible. Even a common soldier here is stronger than the Ant Queen in the Tyrant Desert. I summon over a dozen skeleton warriors to defend myself. But in the very first exchange, all my skeleton warriors are stunned. I lose 3 of them in the blink of an eye. Since melee isn't working, I summon skeleton mages for ranged attacks. Combined with the warrior's siege, we quickly kill all the level 30 dragon spearmen. This battle makes me realize I need to be more cautious. Although I have many skeleton warriors, if they get stunned, they stand almost no chance of survival. This actually excites me. Usually, I just steamroll through dungeons. This is the first time I've had to be this careful, even though I'm being extremely cautious. The second squad of dragon spearmen still spots me. The difficulty of this dungeon is impressive. I'm forced to summon skeleton warriors to draw their attention. Unexpectedly, the warriors I send out are instantly locked in place. I recognize it immediately as a mage's control skill, Wind Shackles. It seems these monsters possess some intelligence. They can even use basic battle tactics. I have no choice but to use overwhelming numbers again. I crush them with pure quantity. At the cost of 5 skeleton warriors, I finally kill the level 30 dragon spearmen. Suddenly, a dragon mage launches a sneak attack on my skeleton mages. It knows the mages are the bigger threat, but I anticipated this move. I immediately counter with Soul Flame. Ignoring its defense, Soul Flame kills it instantly. To my surprise, they dropped a dragon horn, a material Magnus needs. But the drop rate is terrible. I've killed so many and only got 1. After recalling my heavily injured skeleton warriors, I continue heading deeper into the dungeon. Who would have thought this hell difficulty dungeon hides a shocking secret? Once the final boss falls, I actually obtain the unique hidden title, Dragon War King. I even get a class change certificate that others usually only get at level 40. It turns out that after I killed the second wave of dragon soldiers, another dragon horn dropped unexpectedly, but I am still far from the amount needed for the task. So, I continue searching for more dragon monsters. Soon, I encounter a third group of dragon spearmen. To reduce the losses of my skeleton warriors, I use my usual method to pull the monsters. Combining it with my slow curse skill, I successfully control all the dragon spearmen. Then, I order the skeletons to counterattack. Meanwhile, Magnus has returned to the academy. Alaric immediately notices that Magnus' military merit has decreased by 1 star. It seems you really value him. You even spend a merit point to place a brand on him. Magnus acts like it is no big deal. It is just a little bit of merit. It is nothing compared to a kid like Dante. Besides, I need him to collect some materials for me in the dungeon. Consider it a bit of training for him. Speaking of the dungeon, Alaric's expression suddenly turns serious. The dragon frontline outpost has a hell difficulty. Did you warn him not to challenge it recklessly? Magnus breaks into a cold sweat upon hearing this. I actually forgot about that. That kid wouldn't really challenge hell difficulty, right? Alaric quickly comforts him. You don't need to worry too much. He cleared a massive dungeon with 39 others easily. At most, it will only give him a bit of trouble. Besides, he still has the mental brand you placed on him. He won't die. Meanwhile, inside the dungeon, I have already killed all the dragon soldiers. However, the dungeon progress is only 1/3 complete. My skeletons have already suffered heavy losses. I have to admit, hell difficulty is truly insane. I want to see what kind of monster the final boss is. After 2.5 hours of fighting, I finally reach the castle where the final boss is located. Just as I order my skeleton warriors to storm the castle, a skeleton warrior behind me is suddenly insta-killed by an invisible attack. This sudden attack makes me extremely alert. A monster capable of insta-killing a skeleton warrior at that speed must be very strong. Then, a second skeleton warrior is insta-killed right before my eyes. I immediately realize these are invisible monsters. I order my mages to perform an area of effect attack. As the skeleton mages rain down their area attacks, the monsters hidden in the void are soon forced out of stealth. Their attributes also appear before me. Seeing these extreme stats, I finally understand why my skeleton warriors were insta-killed. However, they are no longer a threat without their stealth. In the next second, the skeleton warriors launch a counterattack. Together with the mages, they quickly kill all of them. I also obtain a dragon heart needed for my quest. But suddenly, a barrage of arrows rains down from the city walls. I quickly activate bone armor to defend myself. Then, I order the skeletons to throw the assassins' corpses at the enemy. The moment the corpses reach them, I use corpse explosion. A massive blast erupts on the city walls. The explosion instantly kills a group of archers. I also obtain a drop of dragon essence. With the archers gone, the skeleton warriors quickly enter the city. However, I still don't see any sign of the final boss. As I wonder where it is, the giant statue beside me begins to crack. Once the outer stones fall away, a dragon leader with a terrifying aura appears before me. Its status panel appears, showing skills like mass stun and resistance fortification. Feeling its terrifying pressure and power, I can't help but break into a cold sweat. I immediately distance myself from it. At that moment, the dragon leader lets out a roar. Violent power erupts from its body. Sensing its intent to attack, I immediately cast Slow Curse on it. Restraining chains instantly bind it tightly. Next, the skeleton mages launch their elemental attacks. I thought this would heavily wound it, but it has already activated resistance fortification. It blocks all attacks without taking any damage. Even my Slow Curse effect is greatly weakened. It easily kills the skeleton warriors closest to it. Then, it slams its weapon into the ground. Every skeleton warrior within 100 meters is instantly stunned. This causes me to lose 12 skeleton warriors. Seeing this, my expression becomes serious. I can keep summoning skeleton warriors, but my mental power cannot handle that kind of drain. I summon the undead general to use general's presence. Surprisingly, the buffed warriors break free from the stun instantly. This is great. The boss's control skills are no longer a threat. All the skeleton warriors swarm the enemy at once. With the skeleton mage's help, half its health vanishes instantly. In pain, the dragon chief uses its area stun again. But the undead general's buff protects my warriors. The stun effect disappears in less than 3 seconds. Just as I think victory is mine, the dragon chief lunges directly at me. It knows I am its biggest threat. Fortunately, bone armor blocks its full force strike. I seize the moment to cast Soul Flame. It ignores defense, making the beast scream in agony. As the skeleton mages continue their elemental attacks, the dragon chief finally runs out of health. After its death, a title appears above my head. It is the hidden reward for soloing the hell-level dragon frontline outpost. All my stats increase by 500, and skill costs are reduced by 50%. I also received a class change certificate. Other seniors are just monster food in the primordial battlefield, but I see these fearsome monsters only as merit points. I alone killed hundreds of demonic dogs to save the others. My power leaves the other seniors completely stunned. After killing the hell-level dragon chief, I obtained the unique title, Dragon War King. I've collected over 1/3 of the materials needed for my advancement. Thanks to the dragon cores, I have reached level 23. My skills have also leveled up to 23 along with me. More importantly, my attributes have been significantly boosted. Gear, Scythe of Thanatos, level 2, plus 100 spirit. Skill consumption is now reduced. My spirit stat is now 1900, plus 600. This means I can now summon twice as many skeletons as before. This will make clearing hell-level dungeons much easier. I exit the dungeon and prepare to use a cooldown amulet to continue farming. But as soon as I teleport out, I see corpses everywhere like a living hell. The thick scent of blood in the air makes me frown. I quickly activate bone armor, just in case. At that moment, several demonic dogs lunged at me from behind. A massive pack of demonic dogs appears behind them. I immediately summon skeleton warriors to drive back the dogs. But just as I prepare to summon skeleton mages to join the battle, a sudden attack lands near me, blowing the abyss hellhounds away. A man leads his team to provide support. Young man, come here. This place is surrounded by abyss hellhounds. Once I am safe, they tell me to use a teleportation stone to return to the fortress, but I ignore their suggestion. Instead, I ask why they are risking their lives staying here. With their strength, they could easily break through and escape. It turns out they are waiting for people from the Divine Summer Empire who are still inside the dungeon. Meanwhile, those from the Sakura Empire are abandoned by their own and become food for the hounds. The priest then detects that the dungeon is finally empty. He immediately tells everyone to evacuate. But I remain standing still. You go first. I'll clear them out and continue farming the dungeon. I immediately summon my skeleton army. As the skeleton mages begin chanting, violent elemental attacks rain down on the pack of hounds. The skeleton warriors finish off the survivors. In an instant, a massive number of hounds are dead. The team is shocked by what they see. They never imagined these terrifying hounds could be so weak against this young man. But the next moment completely shatters their common sense. I slowly raise my hand as a red light glows around it. A massive explosion creates a torrent of energy across the battlefield. The sheer power and visual impact leave the people behind me speechless. The military merits from killing so many hounds instantly promote my rank to 1-star private. My death scythe also reaches level 3 after absorbing abyss souls. It grants me a 300-point bonus to my spirit attribute. After that success, I used corpse explosion again to clear the remaining hounds. Seeing this, the group assumed I was a genius from a top academy. But then, the man realized something and looked horrified. He recognized me as the boy who entered the Hell difficulty dungeon. My god, he really cleared a Hell difficulty dungeon all by himself. While they were in shock, my rank rose to 2-star private. My death scythe also reached level 4. The spirit attribute bonus from leveling up is getting even higher. I can't wait to see what other surprises further upgrades will bring. I looked at the hound corpses on the battlefield, still wanting more. It's a pity there were only about 200 abyss hellhounds. I wish there were more abyssal monsters to kill. Meanwhile, the others slumped to the ground in fear after the battle. They all agreed that the primordial battlefield is far too dangerous. Their team leader walked up to me to express his gratitude. He introduced himself as a level 31 Holy Light Knight from Summer Capital Academy. Since we were from the same academy, I politely shook his hand. I told him that I was also a student at Summer Capital Academy. I mentioned that I'm a level 23 necromancer. The man became curious after hearing this. He asked me which year I was in. I told him I just attended the opening ceremony yesterday. As soon as I said that, he dropped his shield in shock. So you're just a freshman? He gasped. The hell-level dragon boss, once feared as a reaper of death, was now nothing more than a toy in my hands. It couldn't even scratch me before losing its last drop of blood. A moment ago, I had agreed to help Raven level up. But when she heard I wanted to grind a Hell difficulty dungeon, Raven was completely stunned. After all, even level 30 Sterling only offered to take her through Nightmare Grade. Realizing this, she looked at me with total admiration. Great. I've always wanted to see a Hell difficulty dungeon. Meanwhile, Sterling was laughing to himself nearby. He thought I was just lying to impress the girl. He expected Raven to come crawling back to him soon. Raven and I soon reached the dungeon entrance. I used a cooldown amulet to reset the dungeon's timer. We then disappeared into the portal. The crowd watching was completely stunned. Wait, did they really just enter Hell difficulty? The last ones to clear Hell difficulty were from God Creation Academy. They're dead for sure. Inside the dungeon, Raven was immediately covered by bone armor. She realized this was a skill I used to protect her. Seeing how calm I was, she felt completely safe. With my previous experience in this dungeon, clearing out the dragon soldiers was incredibly easy. The speed of our progress left Raven in awe. Obtained, Dragon Hide X1. You make this look so effortless, she said. EXP plus 300,000. I bet this isn't even your full strength. Slain, LV-30 Dragon Spearman, this dungeon isn't that hard. I replied calmly. Raven stuck her tongue out at me teasingly. Others struggled just to survive Nightmare Grade. But with you, Hell difficulty feels even easier than Nightmare. My skeleton army continued to crush everything in their path. We progressed through Hell difficulty at lightning speed. Soon, we arrived at the final boss's castle. Before entering, I asked Raven if she needed anything other than a dragon core. Do you need any other drops for your quest? Hearing this, Raven showed me a ring. She said the first part of her quest was complete. The ring was the Goblin King's ring. It is the best accessory for anyone under level 40. It has a powerful attribute that adds 1 level to all skills. It was crafted using the Goblin King's crystal core I gave her. While she was showing it off, I suddenly pulled her aside. A dragon assassin appeared right where she had been standing. Raven broke into a cold sweat. She didn't expect stealth monsters in Hell difficulty. However, her class has a skill to detect stealth. She immediately activated her detection skill to find the hidden assassins. Soon, all the nearby assassins were eliminated. Raven looked at me proudly. See, I'm actually quite useful. Suddenly, she was shocked to see I was already a 2-star private. She pouted and punched me lightly in the chest. Your military merit is way ahead of mine. After I promised to keep carrying her, we reached the statue of the Dragon War King. I cast bone armor on her and told her to stay back. Raven was confused because she had never seen me so cautious. But she obeyed and watched from a distance. The stone shell of the statue began to crumble. The terrifying Dragon War King awakened once again. Even from afar, Raven was shaken by its powerful aura. I immediately cast Slow Curse to restrict its movement. Like before, the Dragon War King used its resistance to break the curse. Then, it unleashed a massive knockback skill. The ground began to crack under its immense power. Even Raven, standing far away, was blown back by the shockwave. But I used bone armor to withstand the impact. Then I launched a counterattack with Soul Flame. I summoned the Undead General to buff my skeletons with General's presence. My skeleton warriors recovered from the stun and attacked the boss. Enraged, the Dragon War King used its stun skill again. But I had already recalled all of my skeletons. The boss's skill hit nothing but air. Once the shockwave cleared, I summoned the skeletons back. This strategy kept my skeletons from taking any damage. After a series of fierce attacks from my army, I easily defeated the powerful Dragon War King once again. The EXP from the kill even made Raven level up. I also obtained a class change voucher for Sarah. She was so surprised and happy that she suddenly hugged me. This is great. I finally got a class change voucher. She quickly realized what she did and shyly stepped back. She nervously explained that she was just overexcited. As I gave the boss's golden dagger to Raven, Grant's team was in serious trouble at the dungeon entrance. A high-level demon and its abyss hellhounds had surrounded them. To others, these demons were unstoppable monsters. But to me, they were nothing more than ants. They couldn't even scratch my defense. I killed them instantly with a single soul flame. Everyone present was stunned by my power. It turned out the Desert Reaper had come to avenge its offspring. It had personally entered the primordial battlefield. However, it couldn't find my scent among the humans. Enraged, it ordered its hounds to devour everyone. Screams echoed throughout the human camp. Just then, Sterling's team teleported out of the dungeon. They were immediately stunned by the swarm of abyss hounds. Sterling quickly activated his Holy Knight defensive skills. Golden orbs of light instantly protected his teammates. This powerful defense saved them for now. But looking at the endless sea of hounds on the battlefield, they couldn't help but break into a cold sweat. Grant shouted that there was a demon in the sky. The abyss demon was already right above them. As the demon prepared to strike, Sterling actually smirked. You can't break through my defensive aura. But before he could finish, the demon's axe ignored his defense and hit his shield. The terrifying force sent him flying instantly. He crashed into a stone wall before finally stopping. That single strike almost killed him. Everyone watching couldn't help but sigh in disappointment. They thought a legendary class Holy Knight would be powerful. It turns out he's useless. Then, the demon noticed Sterling's class. Killing a legendary Holy Light Knight would be a huge prize. Sterling quickly claimed he had already sent a distress signal. He warned that human powerhouses would arrive soon. He tried to scare the demon into running away. But the demon didn't care at all. It was determined to kill him to claim the credit. At that exact moment, Raven and I teleported out of the dungeon. The demon suddenly stopped its attack. It smelled a very familiar scent on me. It was you. You're the one who killed my child. I'll crush you. I looked up, completely confused. The next second, the demon's giant axe swung down at me. At that moment, my bone armor skill was triggered. After the attack, I looked at it with contempt. Are you hungry or something? Seeing this, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Enraged, the demon began a frenzied assault on me. However, it still couldn't break through my bone armor. I took advantage of the gap in its attacks and cast Soul Flame. The blue flames instantly set its head on fire. The strike broke its spirit, and it began to flee in panic. I wouldn't let it escape, so I cast Slow Curse. The demon was instantly frozen in midair, unable to move. Every abyss hellhound on the battlefield was also pinned in place. The demon struggled desperately but couldn't move an inch. Seeing this, Raven burst out laughing. She had already expected this outcome. After all, ordinary monsters in hell difficulty were stronger than this. I summoned my skeleton army to clear out the abyss hellhounds. The demon was now completely in despair. Soon, corpse explosion continuously detonated among the hounds. Finally, only the battered demon remained slumped on the ground. After the demon was killed, I gained 50 military merit points. I also obtained the rare material, Demon Essence. Alchemists and blacksmiths can use it to craft powerful equipment. My death scythe reached level 7, increasing my spirit by 2,100. My spirit attribute has been greatly enhanced. After this battle, my rank rose to 5-star private. Even Raven received a significant amount of military merit. As I stood high above, receiving everyone's admiration, Sterling was consumed by jealousy. He has already forgotten that I saved him from the demons. He secretly swore to make me kneel and beg for mercy one day. He even wants to make Raven his woman. He is furious. The mysterious demon hiding in the void. The mysterious demon in the void is finally enraged. Just a wisp of its consciousness descended on the primordial battlefield. It terrified the experts of the guard squad. For it is the Flame Demon King, one of the 7 demon kings. After I finished off all the abyss demons, I immediately checked on Grant's squad. Grant patted his golden shield and said they were fine. Thanks to your shield, I finished my equipment set. Just then, a group of people arrived from the distance. Grant recognized them as the Eternal Great Wall Guards. They had clearly come in response to the distress signal. But to their surprise, the battle was already over before they even arrived. They were shocked to see the corpses of hellhounds everywhere. Confused, they asked what had happened here. They also asked who had sent the distress signal. The guard captain walked up to me after learning the truth. He didn't believe a level 23 recruit could do this at first, but he understood when he saw my 5-star badge. To become a 5-star private, one must kill many hellhounds. Well done, young man. I will report this to headquarters. Just then, another group appeared behind them. The leader was a divine summoner. Grant recognized her as Vivian, the princess of the MO clan. Her class is legendary great. Her stunning beauty captivated every man there. Vivian asked about the distress signal. She prepared to leave after the captain said everything was under control. But then, I caught her attention. My aura seemed to disgust her. She gave me a meaningful look and left. I noticed her badge was for a 4-star lieutenant. Seeing me deep in thought, Raven told me Vivian was searching for a Nirvana crystal. Grant finally understood. No wonder she left the deep areas of the primordial battlefield. She is looking for the Nirvana crystal. It is a rare material that increases the chance of class sublimation. Professionals further define their path during the second class change. There is also a small chance for class sublimation to occur. For example, my rare paladin class could sublimate into the legendary Holy Light Knight, but the natural success rate is far too low. A Nirvana crystal can greatly increase those odds. Deep within the primordial battlefield, monsters called battlefield specters have a low chance of dropping it. Then Raven added something. The battlefield Ghost King boss is a guaranteed drop. Grant sighed. That is a world-level boss, and it rarely appears. It is incredibly hard to defeat. I became curious. Vivian is already a legendary class, yet she still wants to sublimate. Does a rank higher than legendary even exist? Suddenly, a pair of blood-red eyes appeared in the void. The Abyss Hellhound is dead, and even the Abyss Hound demon I sent failed. It seems a formidable professional has appeared among the humans. Furious, it plans to send higher-level demons to test him again. Meanwhile, the human experts are shocked after sensing its rage. That aura just now felt like the Flame Demon King. What exactly happened to make him so furious? Regardless, we must report this to the superiors immediately. Elsewhere, Magnus anxiously asks Alaric what happened. Alaric quickly comforts him. I saw his image through the Hall of Heroic Souls and the Demon-Slaying Tower. That kid not only wiped out many Abyss Hellhounds, but he is already a 5-star private now. Most importantly, he even killed an Abyss Hound demon. Magnus is also shocked to hear this. He achieved so much in just 2 days. It seems the upcoming class competition will be very exciting. Alaric is surprised to see Raven by Dante's side. He didn't expect them to be together. Magnus quickly asks what else he saw. I saw Alaric's nemesis together with Dante. I can't wait to see Alaric's reaction. Meanwhile, Raven and I cleared the Dragon Outpost dungeon on Hell difficulty again. My level has reached 24. Even Raven's exclusive set is almost complete. But the moment we teleported out of the dungeon, the crowd pointed and shouted that a Shikigami had appeared. A beast pulling a carriage was slowly approaching. The people on the carriage were the Sakura Empire team. The captain was the Shikigami summoner I had a conflict with before. People guessed they came to clear the Hell difficulty dungeon for the hidden title. Little did they know, I already obtained that unique hidden title. Then, the Shikigami summoner noticed that Raven and I looked familiar. After thinking for a bit, he realized he had met his enemy. The Abyssal army had descended upon the war fortress. While everyone was afraid and trying to survive, I applied to lead an attack as a level 24 recruit. After I led Raven through the Hell difficulty dungeon again, I unexpectedly ran into enemies from the Sakura Empire upon exiting. The Sakura Empire team laughed when they saw my level. They mocked me for being a level 24 rookie in the primordial battlefield. They asked if I was there to be a snack for the Abyssal demons. But the Shikigami summoner was shocked. He remembered I was only level 10-something back on Mermaid Island. I had already reached level 24 in just a few days. He knew exactly how powerful my skeleton army was. He felt that if he didn't kill me now, he would never get another chance. However, his teammates noticed his intent and stopped him. They pointed out that they were outnumbered by the Divine Summer Empire people. If they started a fight, they would be the ones to die. The Shikigami summoner looked around. He saw everyone watching them like hawks. He had no choice but to suppress his killing intent. He said he would settle things with me at the professional competition. I hope you don't disappoint me then, he said. Then he turned and entered the dungeon. Raven knew they were only holding back because of the people around us. But I didn't care at all. I could have taken them all on by myself. I was curious about this competition he mentioned. Raven explained the details to me. Every 5 years, a world-class professional competition is held. Each class system has its own specific competition events. This time, the competition is being held in the Divine Summer Empire. Countless powerful professionals will come to participate. You won't be able to skip it, so I'll join the competition with you. It is divided into team and solo matches. Teams must consist of 5 members. Plus, the rewards for the solo champion are very generous. You must remember to sign up when the time comes. Just then, the badges on our chests suddenly glowed with golden light. Raven immediately realized this was a Divine Summer military order. At the same time, Everyone from the Divine Summer Empire received the order. The next second, a booming voice echoed across the primordial battlefield. All Divine Summer soldiers, assemble at the war fortress. As soon as the voice finished, everyone was forcibly teleported back to the fortress. People from the Sakura Empire were amazed by the sight. Is this the